Hello and welcome back to another Final Fantasy XIV video. Today is kind of an improving at 14 video. Not really, not quite. But it'll probably go on the playlist anyways. I can't like firmly state it's an improving at 14 video, but it kind of is anyways. What we're looking at right here, right now, is a website that stores logs. Website that I'm sure everyone knows about, FF Logs. That operates in kind of a gray area, so I'm going to go ahead and give this disclaimer at the beginning of the video. Square Enix will not really do anything about people setting up places for logs and analysis. However, they do not want you talking about it in-game, they do not want you using it to name and shame. They mostly do not mind as long as you're using it as a way to personally improve at your playstyle. Please do not use this to be rude to people. Please only use this for personal improvement. Please do not go yelling about it in-game. Now that that disclaimer is out of the way, let's talk about what we're looking at. We're looking at, essentially, my best runs across the course of the Savage tier, the current Savage tier. As you can see, I'm a pretty okay monk player, hitting 90th percentile, which means I'm doing 90+% of the damage of the best player, which means I'm only like 10% behind them, more or less. The math isn't perfect, but that's more or less how it works out. But monk's a job I'm pretty confident on, and comfortable on, so I don't really want to improve at it. That's not the job I want to look at. Let's look at one of my favorite jobs, but a job I've been slacking on playing this tier, Dragoon. As you can see, the numbers aren't quite as pretty. And I was doing some clears of Eric the other day, so I'm going to go look specifically at them and be like, okay, well, let's look at my best run and see what I did on my best run. And let's see how I can maybe improve my best run. So let's go look at the actual skills used and be like, okay, well, like, let's see. Was I just getting unlucky? Mastrons, they're only D-hitting 5% of the time. That's pretty not lucky. Stardiver, none of them crit. That's very unlucky. But that isn't quite enough to push me down as low as I was. So we're going to go to a website called FFXIV Analysis. Once again, this is a personal improvement tool. Please do not use this in any other way. We plug it in, and we look, and we go, okay, well, this is a little checklist, basically a quick analysis via, like, a look of when you cast your spells when, to see how good you did. Okay, I was casting 98% of the time, that's pretty good uptime. Got my damage buff up 99% of the time, that's good uptime. My debuffs up, my Chaotic Spring, 92% for Dragoon, that's pretty good. Used my cooldowns. I missed one cooldown, I'm assuming? Yeah, I missed one life surge at the end of the fight, but that's, like, honestly fine, because you want to use that on certain skills. Hit my positionals. Well, I missed one Chaotic Spring, I missed 6 Wheeling Claw and Fang and Thrust. That's, okay, I'm out of practice, that's kind of a big deal. I should do my best to hit all of my positionals and use True North whenever I can. Okay, that's a good thing to keep in mind for me. Let's see. Suggestions. Weaving isn't issues. Oh no, I weaved incorrectly. Which means, in other words, that I was trying to put more than 2 buttons in between GCDs. So, okay, well, that's just something I'll practice and do better at a Dragoon. And use as many of your GCDs as possible during Lance Charge. Okay, I missed one, and I missed one during Dragon Sight. Okay, well, let's go scrolling down and looking. As you can see, this is just ability drift, which is something that does indeed happen across the course of the fight. Some is just more major than others. Like you can tell, my high jump drifted 3 seconds here, which is pretty unacceptable, in my opinion. Drifted a good amount over here by like 2 seconds on my Garrus Gogol, drifting for a total of 17 seconds, but they drifted 17 seconds together, so it's not as bad. It's just not perfect. But they are abilities that drift right now, so you just kind of got to do what you can. Macro life, the dragon windows were fine, but let's look at the Lance Charge window. It says I missed some skills during it. What did I miss? Okay, well I hit 8 out of 8 GCDs in every single one of them. That's good. I jump at all of them. Oh, right here at a 4-minute burst window, I did not hit a Garrus Gogol, so I can see and I can look at exactly what I was casting, and I can go and review, like for example for me, my Twitch VODs, and look at what I was doing and go, okay, well I did that wrong. I can stick a Garrus Gogol in that window next time and not mess it up. That's fine, I'll try and do better. Now let's look at the Dragon Sight windows. This is a 2-minute cooldown, there's less things to look at, and looking at it I go, okay, well I actually only missed one thing during Dragon Sight. Like, I actually hit my Garrus Gogol during my Dragon Sight window at 4 minutes. So while I wasn't perfect, with my lance charge timing, I did pretty okay. I think my lance charge drifted during this window. It drifted 3 GCDs during this window, which is kind of a big deal. But I did manage to fix it by the next one, somehow, through some black magic. But that does negatively impact me, so I gotta realize that and adapt to the fact that my lance charge drifted. Okay, and during this 2-minute window, I just didn't hit Spine Shatter Drive twice. That's fine, that's whatever. Here's one last thing I can look at that they give me. My battle litany. Oh, I missed a player at the 2-minute window. Oh, I missed 3 players at the 6-minute window. Oh, that's really bad. I should, in fact, not be missing 3 players. That's something I gotta work on. I gotta work on standing in the right place for battle litany. My tincture windows, looks like I hit all the GCDs that I could and should, so I'm not super worried about those. That's my positionals, and I can see exactly when I missed them, so I know what time in the fight to be prepping for. And here's a timeline that shows exactly what I was using when I was using it. FFXIV analysis is a great resource for personal improvement, and I highly recommend you use it as such. As you can see, I can use this to figure stuff out on my own, on what I need to improve when, and this is how I recommend you using it. If you have logs up on any website for any number of reasons, you can typically plug them into FFXIV analysis and use it to help you study and improve your play. It's what I do to achieve big numbers across the game. It can only help you so much though, because there are some fights like P3S that have forced downtime, so stuff like this checklist won't be good. There's fights like P4S that have weird timings, so sometimes the checklist won't always be good because you might hold damage skills for buff windows or something. This is good for if the boss fight was a striking dummy, and that's why I'm talking about Eric and Theos, P1S's raid boss, because of just, he's a striking dummy. He stands still the whole time. He's a great thing to be testing on, essentially. But yeah, this is something that I just recommend you do if you're a new player learning about the game. It is a lot to take in all at once, so I recommend just focusing on one thing at a time. If your suggestions list is massive, maybe don't worry about the suggestions list at first. Maybe first and foremost, do the checklist. Make sure you're always casting, keeping your damage and debuffs up, using your cooldowns, and for melees, hitting positionals. In order of things to work on, definitely work on your checklist first, your set of suggestions second, for Dragoon, obviously, then ability drift, and then seeing that you're fitting everything inside your damage buff windows, and seeing that you're hitting everyone with your damage buffs, stuff like that. Don't worry too much about it, but this is just a resource that'll help you improve at the game, and it's something that I've used to great effect to improve my play. Now, though, thanks for watching. This has been the end of this video. It's been a pretty short one, I think. 8 minutes, pretty short. Like I said, use this all for personal improvement. Do not use this to be rude. Do not use this to name and shame. Just use it for personal improvement. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it, and I hope to catch you in the next one.